onto your butts.
Nintendo's Donkey Kong has quite the storied past. Originating in the arcades during the 80s as one of the first platformers around. Then, more than a decade later, he resurfaced in Rareware's challenging platformer, Donkey Kong Country, on the Super Nintendo. This was only but the beginning of the golden banana era. Donkey Kong was in his prime. As the 90s went on, we got two more great entries in the Donkey Kong Country series. And later, on the Nintendo 64, DK and crew grew into a robust 3D platformer. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Thus, the Rotten Banana period began. As the name would imply, it was a very dark time, and kind of stinky. A whole lot of nothing happened, besides a bunch of crappy spin-offs and shovelware, up until the 2010 release of Donkey Kong Country Returns, and later, Tropical Freeze. Now what if I told you there was a secret crystal coconut amongst the garbage? It's a real slammer, a banana slammer, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat! You know, the game with the bongos! Before you go clicking off this video, which I don't blame you because that intro was pretty shit, just hear me out. Jungle Beat handles motion controls in a very intuitive way, and if I'm gonna be a real straight shooter with ya, it uses motion controls way better than DKC Returns. If you're familiar with Returns, you know that they relegated one of the core mechanics in DKC, the ability to roll, to twisting your Wiimote. Sure, you can get used to it over time, but personally, it's a bunch of bananas! If you're a clumsy dingus, you might be rolling by accident all the time. What makes it worse is that wanking your Wiimote while playing DKC isn't conducive to smooth gameplay. So what's great about Jungle Beat is that you're using a music peripheral in a platformer game, which would be like using a DDR pad for Dark Souls, which is totally a thing people do! I don't fucking get it. But on top of that, Nintendo creates situations where it changes how the bongos work, while being consistently fun and intuitive. Let's go over the controls. Bang the right bongo to make DK run to the right, bang the left bongo to make DK run to the left. And the harder you bang each side, the quicker he'll go. Slamming on both bongos at the same time will make DK jump. And lastly, clapping. I'm sure you're familiar with this technique, especially if you've listened to the DK rap before. The bongos have a mic that'll pick up your clapping, and surprisingly, it's not too jank. However, if you feel like it's not picking up your claps at all, or if it's mistaking your hardcore bongoing as a clap, there is an option to turn down the sensitivity. Clapping is remarkably DK's most versatile move. It allows him to grab onto things, stun enemies, work as a contextual move, but most importantly, start the level. DK's gotta go through each of the 12 kingdoms, get his bananas back, take down the minions of the Cactus and Ghastly King, whom regrettably are shoddy replacements for the one true reptile god king, K. Rool, and reclaim his title as the king of the jungle. Each kingdom has 3 stages, 2 regular platforming levels, and then are capped off with a boss. And unlike in say Donkey Kong Country, you gotta play through all 3 stages in one go. Each stage seems like a simple platformer, moving DK to the right to find the end. And I'd probably agree with you if Jungle Beat was played with a normal controller. The bongos offer dynamic and smart controls that feel natural for each situation. Say you want to fling DK up and over this ridge, but the only thing around is this plant. Bang on the bongos to the left rapidly, and DK will cause the plant to lean all the way on its side, and then it will instantly straighten up, flinging DK into the air. Or say there's a roadblock like this fat boar. Clap to make Donkey grab onto him, and it takes you to a different screen with DK standing above the boar. DK will unleash his Fist of Fury, eliminating his foe and freeing his path. Hell, even the end of the stage minigame has DK standing amongst a pile of bananas, trying to eat as many as possible. I think we've all been there. Slamming on the bongos as fast as possible to see the banana counter rise is simply euphoric. The controls are implemented well with the animal buddies, jungle buddies as well. Specifically, this dude named Hoofer. This massive wildebeest loves to go fast, and the only way to do so is by slamming on the right bongo as fast as humanly possible. It feels super fun and intense, especially when you're getting chased by whatever nightmare creature that is. Easily the most fun implementation of the bongos are the boss fights. The boss fights against the birds, robo-elephants, and hogs are pretty cool, but none of them compare to fighting your Kong brethren. These are one-on-one boxing matches with different Kongs, and are a completely different type of game in of itself. They feel like Punch-Out, but you know, with bongos, you gotta get in when the enemy Kong has an opening and just wail on them. The mix of dodging and attacking feels great, and it was my favorite part of Jungle Beat. As the name Jungle Beat would imply, you gotta collect beats through various means, like collecting bananas and beating up baddies. The more beats you get, the better your score, leading you to earn more crests to unlock more kingdoms. So there's always a desire to get better, to beat the Jungle Beat King. And this is where I fell hard for the game. Harder than Dixie's hairspin, dude. In order to get the maximum amount of beats at a level, you really gotta be a bongo master. Clapping to grab as many nanners as possible, beating up baddies, but most importantly, maxing out your combo. Yeah, combo meter in Donkey Kong game, it's great! So basically, you get combos by doing backflips, ground pounding, riding an animal buddy, and other special actions. While in combo, every beat collected is worth more, tremendously boosting your beat counter. DK proving to everyone once again, he's more than just a big, strong ape. He's super stylish too. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat may not be for everyone, but if you ever spot a pair of these bongos at your local game store, I would suggest picking them up. You never know how much fun you'll have with one of the most slammin' Donkey Kong games around.